I love, we're always trying to show everybody else love, express our love, especially on this day. More than anything, everybody's buying roses, buying flowers, whatever it is, doing all this, planning special events for their significant other. And for me, I'm trying to plan all that for me, right? I think it's really important. It's been something that's been foundational in my life, right? It's allowed me to make, have healthy boundaries, create healthy relationships, be more present in people's life. I'm talking about really present, not just there, but present. It helps me to really care for myself in a way I never was able to care for myself. I really didn't understand, because if you ask me, I thought I loved myself. I would tell you, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. And I love myself with a crack pipe in my mouth, right? I love myself sitting in a damn jail cell. I love myself, you tell me I'm homeless under a damn bridge, right? And I'm an able, capable man, but I love myself, but I choose a bridge, right? It took a long time. And then even in this process, I remember, why do I keep relapsing? What the hell am I missing? Am I doing this program right? Am I doing the steps right? What am I doing? Why do I keep going out to use, man, right? And then I just found out that even in this process, my predecessors in this process were building exterior lives. So I came in and I said, oh, he got the car. I gotta get the nice car. I gotta get the right girl. If I get the right girl, if I get the right house, if I get all that stuff and build a nice exterior life, I'm gonna, maybe that's what it is, I'm gonna stay. And I did that. I worked really hard, became successful, and had everything I want, and I still wanted to jump off the fucking bridge at least twice a week. I would visit the bridge and just contemplate, I wasn't happy. And I remember being in a book signing in Maryland, and it was just the best thing. I getting ready to go home and to my hometown to show everybody, look, I made it. And I remember leaving the library after doing the signing, going back to the hotel, going into the cafe, and I remember the female that I had met that night that worked at the bar, started messing with her, smoked some crack, left the tour, and went home. And I went to Low, I rode right back in Low, back to the same corner, and was smoking crack, and left everything, you know what I mean? And I just couldn't figure out, what the hell am I doing wrong, man? And I met this lady, and she had this aura about her, she's something about this lady. And it wasn't like I was trying to knock, trying to get with her or anything. It was just like, what the hell, something about this lady was just different. And she started telling me about loving herself and about alignment and about this energy and this vibration, all this stuff that was real foreign to me. I think I was so desperate at that time that I was ready to receive anything. Or maybe God, and when I look back at my process, there was always people at key times in my process that came to give me a message, but I was deaf to it. I was just so deaf to it. I'd come around and I'd listen to it and it sounds good, but I have a mind that tells me if I listen to something and I go to a meeting or whatever, I listen to it, then I automatically got it. I didn't know that I had to apply any of this information. So I'd sit here and I think, because I'm sitting here, everything's gonna get all right, and that's what I did. They say meeting makers make it. Yeah, now to a meeting, that's what you make it to. And if you don't apply it, that's all you're gonna get. And I didn't understand that either. I just didn't understand a lot of stuff. So anyways, she started sending me just little affirmations, this little self-love thing, and it didn't sit well because I thought I already loved myself, and two, what the hell do I do with that, right? How do I do that? And it was very simple. She said it was very simple. Start treating yourself like somebody you love. And it took a long time. You know, when I start hearing things, it takes a long time, but I have to start absorbing it. I have to really sit down and pay attention, because I don't dissect things. I don't spend time. I'll spend more time making up a grocery list, making sure I'm down to every penny, but I don't check my own inventory in my life. Right? I don't do that because I didn't know how. Nobody ever taught me this. I didn't know any of this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm gonna read a little excerpt and just it kind of tells from the book, kind of like where I was and what happened to me. And I don't use it anymore as this victim mentality, because that's what it was. I was a victim and I blamed everybody for my situation. It didn't matter who it was. I always found somebody to be responsible for what happened to me. Right? And the things that really legitimately happened to me, I'm talking legitimately happened to me, when I look back in that history, I even blame myself for being molested. For some people taking advantage of me when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. I blamed myself, right? So I carried all that. In my work, I didn't even understand none of that. I didn't understand that because I was an abuser, that I was gonna be an abuser. And I didn't understand why relationships didn't work out for me, right? Why didn't relationships work out for me? I'm cool, right? And everything, I started realizing that it was all hostages. I didn't pick partners. I needed somebody as a hostage, somebody to control, because I never had control in my life. It seemed like everything controlled me. I remember always feeling like an alien, always feeling not good enough, not feeling like I had to do too much to be accepted. Right? I needed so much validation from everybody, and that's what it did. But I'm going to read a little bit of the excerpt and kind of explain where I was when I wrote this part, and then we're going to have Hilda. She's going to read one of the first poems that really made sense to me in my process, and it's called "You Are Who You've Been Looking For." It's by Adam Roa. And I remember the lady gave me this poem, read it in the daytime, read it in the morning, and read it at night. And it didn't make sense for a long time. Some things caught me, but it didn't like really resonate, right? But over time, after I started doing the work and started reading it and just being committed to read it, and I understood it, like being committed to something, right? And I started being committed. I remember being out, and my life was a mess at the time, and even in this process, my life was a total mess. You know, going through a serious separation, you know, working for Spectrum, and you know, had a pretty decent job, single dad. The mother's running in and out of our lives. You know, trying to hold that together, hold 2 little babies together, keep the job. It was tough, man, and it was tough. It was times I just wanted to go running and just go smoke crack, because I really didn't know what else to do. And it was for the people that were around me that I met in Spectrum that really held me accountable and really would stay in my house when I felt like that, would sit there and stay in my house, help me cook food for my kids, because I didn't even know how to cook at this point. Right? When the mother relapsed and left me, I didn't know how to cook. I used a microwave. We were microwaving it out. And I wasn't even good at that. I'm good now, but I wasn't good at the time. But I'm gonna read this and kind of like just explain where I'm at. But for me, you know, I honestly believe that we get trapped up into a society that teaches us to look for our value externally and be validated externally and get the right jobs. So we get these jobs and we get so invested in these jobs when we get so invested in people's lives. But we do that by abandoning ourselves. You know what I mean? I understand now that if I really don't love people, at least just only how society says, and it's not authentic because society's not authentic, but to love myself authentically, right, first, because if I don't have it, how the hell can I give it to you? Really, I mean, so that made sense to me. If somebody asked me for $1 million, I ain't got it. I can't give you money. So these words and these slogans that we take on in life has us chasing. And life is not really about chasing. It's about alignment and attraction. I didn't even understand that. All I had to do was be me. I was already enough. When I was naked coming out of my mom, I was already enough then. So what happened to me, right? See, people think Addiction is a choice. They think just because you wake up one day and decide to destroy your life. But anyone who's lived it knows different. Addiction doesn't ask permission. It creeps in slow, hooks you deep, and before you even realize it, what's happening, it's running the show. At first, I thought I was in control. I thought I was choosing to get high. That was crazy. I really did, for a long time, thought I was making all these choices. And then I started doing stuff that I would never, like, I can't even speak on here, right? Or not really comfortable. But I was doing things that, oh my God, that I would never choose to do. Right? Like horrific. I'm talking about sitting there and want to stab somebody in the head for a hit. I'm talking about being homicidal and suicidal all through the day, and it's back and forth. One minute I'm homicidal, then the one side I want to go kill somebody for a hit. And I'm not talking about piles of coke for me. It wasn't about piles of coke. It was about a crumb. All I needed was a crumb. And that's all I ever went out for, just one. But it always ended up to be 10 days later, I'm still out chasing the one, right? So that's what it was for me, and I was doing any and everything. I mean, going to jail, spending 28 years of my life just for crumbs. I just don't get it. And that's what it was for me. I know other people had elaborate stories of how they had these big piles. I didn't have that, because I didn't want big piles. I just wanted one. My whole thing was about the next one, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get it. Whatever it took to get it, right? And I did some crazy stuff, man, you know. Yeah, I did some crazy stuff, man, when I look back. Anyway, it says, I thought I was choosing to get high, choosing to drink, choosing to rob and steal. But the truth is, those substances were choosing for me. The moment that numbness hit me, I was hooked. Not just on the drug itself, but on the escape it promised. And I remember one of my sponsors, he told me, when I first came in, it took me a couple years to get it, and he said, Darryl, you keep talking about these drugs, your drugs. I'm like, yeah, man. He said, man, if drugs are your problem, then you're probably not an addict. And I didn't get that. I'm like, dude, like, drugs are my problem. But I remember in you know, being in recovery, I put down the drugs right down, picking up the shopping, put down the shopping, I pick up a fork, put down a fork, I pick up a spoon. Anything that felt good, right? Because I wasn't feeling good, so anything that felt good, I did it to the extreme, right? I remember being in recovery because I shopped so much, I couldn't pay rent. It was like, I need them Jordans, right? Because I didn't love me, so I still kept dressing up a garbage can no matter where I went, right? Because I was still trying to hide. I wasn't comfortable with myself, so I'm hiding. And even here, I'm hiding in plain sight, right? I come here and then I wonder why I'm going to smoke again, right? It says, it tells you where to go, chasing the next hit, the next hustle, the next lie. It tells you who to trust, people just as consumed and broken as you, because at least they won't judge you. Everything else, family, genes, values, even self-respect, takes a big backseat. Nothing matters but feeding the beast. I can't count how many times I told myself, this is the last time. And that was a true statement. I cannot count how many times I said, I'm not doing it no more. I'm not doing it no more. But because I had a fixed idea, as soon as I get money, my money meant for me to turn into coke. It was just automatic. It was a fixed idea. Even if I wanted to stop, you give me $10, as soon as I get the $10, I'm thinking about coke. Automatically, right? And when I'm thinking about coke, I'm thinking about getting high. I'm thinking about getting high, I'm thinking about getting coke. I was fixed, trapped in this idea. So I was boxed in. And it had nothing to do with external circumstances at this time. And it didn't have nothing to do with drugs at this time, because I didn't have no friggin' drugs. But I just wanted to get high. You know what I mean? No matter what. So I didn't understand how I was caged in. I thought if I just said I don't want to get high no more, and because I see my babies are crying, and I see my life going down the toilet, or I'm sitting in a cell shaking and getting ready to go up in front of a judge that wants to give me 9 to 12 years or threaten me with a life sentence, I thought that would make me stop, and it didn't. And I got right back in front of the judges again. And one thing I do like that I found out, I used to think I was crazy. They thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy. It is what it was. You know, I'm gonna die this way, either on the streets, or I'm gonna die in prison. And I think the craziest thing about it was that I was cool with it. I didn't care if I died. I didn't care if I was dead or in jail. As long as I went to jail high, as long as I died high. That's all I wanted. And I was willing to die, and I was willing to kill somebody. And I literally remember when I was doing this work, like some of the things that I did to people that were close to me and people that were just, I'm talking some crazy stuff over crumbs, like some crazy stuff. It says, I always said I was done. But the second I walked out the door, the same voice in my head whispered, just one more. And I didn't understand that. And again, one more always turned into 1,000 more. Programs tried to help me, but I wasn't ready. I was showing up with my body, and I talk about this a lot because this would really kept me messed up. I would come here, and just because I came through that door, I thought I was in recovery, right? I didn't know that I had to get off the sidelines and get in the game. I didn't know that. So I sat on the sidelines, afraid to be seen. And then my sponsor said, now everybody knows what you do. Everybody knows what you do. That's what you mean. Because if you're an addict like me, you don't even have to tell your story because I already know what you will and will not do. Right? I already know. So you ain't got to talk. I know what you will not do. And what you don't do, haven't done, you're eligible to. It's just a yet. Right? It's just a yet. So I said, damn, I can feel free to tell my story, right? And then I listen to people and I compare. Like, they don't know me, man. My shit's worse. I can't tell this stuff, right? And I had to learn to go in there, man, and I didn't tell everything in the meeting. I ain't gonna lie to you. There was some stuff that, I just told a sponsor and, certain people you meet along this way who's able to carry your pain with you. You know what I mean? And my sponsor always told me, when it gets heavy now, tell me about it and I'll carry your pain until you're strong enough to carry it for yourself, right? But I didn't trust him, right? It was two things. I didn't trust men because I was always in compete with men. I didn't trust men because men took advantage of me at 7, 8 years old, right? So I didn't want to be vulnerable. It was hard for me to tell a man that I didn't have it all together, right? Because my whole thing was to look like I had it together, no matter what. Right? Because I wasn't supposed to express that. It was hard. And then my ego would not let me go tell another man that I was hurting. I'm hurting. Right? So that kept me boxed in these environments. And I always ended up back in the streets, man. And for me, it always ended up back in the penitentiary. And that was the cycle till about 8 years ago. You know what I mean? It's just 8 years now. This week, 8 years, man. It's a miracle because I never, since I was 13, been either in jail, on probation, parole, a bracelet, community. I've always had this
or a sentence.
This attack, yeah. I always had it was attached. So I didn't know how to break free. And the crazy thing about it was I didn't even know if I wanted to break free because I was really comfortable with that. I got so comfortable with being in jail that when he put the handcuffs on, I was like, whew. Right? I was like so happy, right? Because I couldn't stop myself. Somebody had to stop me, right? And I'm rolling. I'm like, somebody. So when the handcuffs got on, I was like, right? And if it was 4 years, 5 years, whatever it was, that's what it was, right? It says, and I just want to be one more thing, right? And then I'm gonna just one more thing I want to. That was really sad for me. And I didn't understand it until I started writing. Like, damn, this was my call. So I didn't know there was when I started doing the work, I didn't know what was wrong with me. Started doing, just little breathing work, stuff I really didn't believe in because it was always taught to me that was voodoo. So all that stuff was like, right? Vibration and reggae, all this craziness, man. I was like, yeah. But I remember when I started doing this thing, this voice that I had, there was a voice inside me. I didn't know that my trauma had a voice, right? And because I wouldn't listen to it, it was expressing itself out in my behavior, in my community, in my family, all through my life. You can see my trauma, you know what I mean? Something was wrong, clearly wrong with me. And they didn't know how to deal with it. They just punished it. When it came out, everybody just punished it. Right? It says the pipe wasn't the beginning of my destruction. It was the exclamation point. And looking back now, this was just so real to me. I can see the little boy inside me screaming, please, somebody love me. Please, somebody tell me enough. And that's what I needed. But I didn't need to hear it from you, because I heard all that. I needed to hear it from me. I needed to go back to that little boy, meet him where he's at, make peace, love all of it. All of my shadow, right? Because it's all mine. The good, bad, and ugly. It's all mine. And I've been running away from those things, ignoring those things, the things I disliked, I was running from. In order, I had to go back. And this time I had to go back and commit that I was gonna stay, right? I wasn't gonna abandon no more. That this time, I'm gonna stay, right? And I knew that somebody was me, but I wanted you to love me. And it was based on conditions, right? When I did the wrong thing, you get out. So I was always being kicked out. My name was get the hell out at the end, right? I had to go back and love me, man. And that was my journey. Practicing, I remember going out, and it was so corny. I don't know if it was corny, it was just foreign. Doing foreign, dressing myself up. You know, calling and making a dinner reservations for one, right? And doing it, and I don't know how this stuff's gonna work out, but I'm just listening to what people are telling me, and I'm doing it. Now, you have to court yourself. You have to do this. You have to do this. If you met a girl, what would you do? You met her, you want to meet her, she gives you your number. Are you gonna wait a month to call? No, I'm gonna call her that day, that night. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna try to make arrangements, go on a dinner date. You know, just court her. You have to start doing it for yourself, Darryl. So I'd show up to dinner, I'd show up with a rose, and I'd go into the damn diner, and it was like, you know, yeah, for one, are you waiting for somebody? No, it's just me. And I'd put the roses there, and it probably looked stupid. I felt stupid, right? I felt stupid because it was something it was just something I never did. But I'm sitting there, and I'm eating a meal, and I'm doing these things, right? Then I'm sending cards to myself. You're gonna start sending your cards. So I started writing cards, you know what I mean? And writing notes in the card and putting them in the mailbox. And here's one thing, I was in this shelter, and these things were showing up at crucial times that I needed. When I got mail, it was for me, but it was for me, really. It's for what I really needed to hear. So I started doing all that, writing cards, sending cards to myself, going on walks, right? Just the little stuff, like literally like courting myself. Because the thing is, right, I'm gonna tell you something. Where I'm at today, like, and people that are like real personal to me, people that I've heard, I have a daughter who's 39 who's went through all of my stuff, man. And because I've embraced this, she's embraced this, right? And her lifestyle is changing. And her, you know, she's loving herself. She's got boundaries. She doesn't even accept people running in and out of her life anymore. There's a man, she doesn't look for what external things or what a person can give. She already knows she's enough. So I'm not looking you to give me nothing. I'm looking for you to, so we can compliment each other, right? Like, because we get in these relationships and we love people and we say we love people and then we hurt the people that we love, right? Right? And if you don't love yourself, then you basically, and I'm not saying it's just the work, it's right. Two people being halves come together to make a whole. Well, how does that make? I'm already a whole. Why? I don't want to be half of nothing today, but I was willing to be half of something, right? And I'm in this relationship. As soon as she doesn't do what I say, then I don't like her. Then I want to go do something with somebody else. Right, all this stuff that happens, and I don't have to force people to stay in my life. I love people in my life, but because of what, you don't have to be in my life. It's not going to change me. I'm not chasing anything. I am not chasing anybody. I am not compromising myself for anybody. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to, and it's been the best having it. My relationships have been more authentic. With my kids, it's just another level. You know, I'm able to make some boundaries because I was so guilty that my daughter used to call me and ask me for anything. And because I was out of her life for so many years, I would give her anything. Even if it was my rent money, no matter what it was, I was giving her everything. I didn't want to say no. And then my sponsor said, and through this work here, now you're not saying no to her. You're just saying yes to yourself. I didn't understand it. You're not saying no, you're just saying yes to you. Right? but I know my relationships have been, especially my relationship with myself, it's so peaceful. I can go home and just be at peace, and I can protect my peace. I get really, people will tell you in my life that if my peace is, you're trying to intrude, I'm cutting out, falling back. I'll see you in a couple days after things change. I don't leave my house without, like I tell you, and I know people don't believe it. I tell a lot of people, I don't leave my house every morning. I don't wake up all, I got some heavy stuff in my life. Some really stuff. I'm fighting for 2 babies. The family, I'm gonna be honest, the family, the baby's mom's family, right? They're trying to take these, it's just a lot going on, right? I have health issues, I have a lot going on, but I don't wake up to come out into this world with bad energy. I won't leave my house until I'm in a good space and good energy, because I don't really wanna, engage with anybody with bad energy. I don't wanna, and I don't wanna attract bad energy. If I leave with bad energy, that's what I'm gonna attract. My peace is very, very valuable. You know what I mean? And I worked hard for it. I worked really hard to be the man, and I don't even want to say man, because it's deeper than that, to be the human being that I was meant to be. And I'm not there because it's an everyday choice. I have to choose to love myself daily. I have to check in with myself on a regular basis. Like if I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about my girl, and now text her, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Yeah, that's cool. I do that for me now. I sit back and down, how's your day going? I check on me. I don't, not that I don't like people, but I check on me first. I make sure I'm all right. I make sure I'm in good space. My other half, yeah, she comes, but then I go first. That's what this self-love about. It's not about being selfish. It's about being authentic, right? How can we love anybody authentically if we don't love ourselves? I mean, just think about that, right? If the husband left, the significant other left, the job, you lost your job, if you lost these things, yes, those are hurtful things, but if you're sinning, man, you know that you're going to be able to align with something else. Life sometimes moves us out of situations to put us in better situations. Sometimes we make choices, and God, He laughs at like, okay, you want that job? Cool, but you're always trying to align into your purpose. It's all about, what is my purpose, right? And sometimes we live outside that, and we chase outside our purpose. And then we get that little struggle, and whether it's a job or a relationship, and because we have this attachment, and we call attachment love, right? We call attachment love. When you start really understanding love, you'll start understanding what attachment really means, right? And so that's what it's really about. I just believe we need to enjoy ourselves. We need to love ourselves. We need to filter all this stuff through us, man. Because if not, we're gonna just walk around feeling inadequate, right? We're gonna buy stuff that we don't need to impress people who really don't care, right? And all that life, we're gonna be chasing. And then when you get older, where I'm at, you start understanding that time is the most valuable thing on earth. And I never knew that. That's why I got to a place like, I'm in the 4th quarter, like, damn, I wish I just had more time. I just want more time, right? That's what I need. I need more time. That's the most valuable. I've been so fooled and so, they taught me to value things that really don't mean anything. I'm not saying it's good to have a nice car. It's good to, be with somebody else. But I'd rather be with me, right? With me, than abandon myself for somebody else. I'm not gonna do that. But I didn't know how to put the brakes on it. So if you came in my life and you said you wanted to leave, no, you ain't leaving. I would chase you, and I would do all this stuff to make you stay at the cost of losing myself. You know what I mean? But I sit here, I understand that time is one of the most valuable things, and it's one of the most things that we throw away the most. We allow people to steal our time. We misuse our time. We just play with our time. We throw time in the trash can all day. And then some of us are in the 1st quarter, so I understand. You don't have that concept. But when you get older and you get in the 4th quarter, you're like, damn, now I'm my mom. And I remember you looking at them like, they're old, now I'm them. So my thing is right now is like, I have these life goals, but for me, it's about building a legacy, because I don't want to leave here, man. I do not want to leave this planet until and nobody knows that I was here. That's why I write books, because they'll always be in the libraries of Congress. They'll always be there, right? But for my kids, man, I definitely want my kids to know, right, that Dad's time that he spent on the earth was to do something to propel them and prepare them for a better and a harsher world. How do I do that? So I'm not gonna tie myself to no friggin' job. I'll work a job, but a job's not working me, right? I'm not gonna do that, right? And that's just the truth. That's my boundaries. I know I have to work, but I'm not letting the job work me. I mean, I'm gonna do what I need to do. Anytime anything causes me to abandon or asks me to abandon myself, I am not doing it. Right? And if I have to leave that job, I trust that the universe is gonna align me with something else, right? Right? But we get so afraid and stuck in these jobs. We get so afraid and stuck in these jobs, and the universe is asking us to do something else and put us in our purpose, but we stay in things that frustrate and really take from us, right? And us and people in human services, we really have to start loving ourselves, right? Because we pour into people all day. We pour. Who the hell's pouring into us? Right? We keep pouring from empty cups, man. Right? So that's what it is about for me, you know. It's nice, but it's work. It's really just focusing on yourself and just taking one thing. Like I said, man, we'll sit there and do a grocery list down to the damn penny. Go on the market bag, whatever, and we'll write all these lists. But when it comes to life, we won't take no time to sit down and write how we feel, what's going on, where's my mindset, you know, taking care of my health, what's really important, and just all about me. What am I doing for me? Ask yourself that, literally. Right? And don't be afraid to challenge, man. Our society is not here to, you know, it doesn't. Society teaches us to abandon ourselves. Society teaches us to feel inadequate. They have an agenda. If they can't make you feel inadequate, you ain't gonna buy no damn makeup, right? Or go, you see the Jones, he got a Mercedes, you sitting around with a damn Honda, you pull up, you're like, damn, I got, and you start chasing, and we're all in this rat race, right? Going nowhere. I asked, so anybody that's here next Friday is the book signing. Please come, man. It's gonna be a nice night. We're creating a, I want to create a nice night where people can really come and get a chance to look inside, man. Really get a chance to reflect on the inside, right? This external world is gonna be there, man, but we're not created to live externally. We're created to live internally. To live from the inside out, not the outside in, right? That's how we create. You can self-validate yourself. You don't need no man, you don't need no woman, you don't need no car. All those people are good, but they're not necessary. The necessity is to fall in love with you, man. Try falling in love with you. Stop falling in love with people. Stop falling in love with jobs. Stop falling in love with art. Fall in love with you, and then you can align with everything. That's what it's called. That's what self-love is about. It's not selfish. It's just self first. Me first. Right? I asked Hilda.